Alright, so we're going to use the AC method here. I posted a link to a PDF from Texas Wesleyan that does the AC method, so I'm going to just follow the steps in that. And so what we do is we multiply the A times the C. And so 3 times 28 is 4, carry my 2, 84. And so 84, positive 84, is the number I need to look for. Now, what I want to do is I want to look at all the factors of 84. So I have 1 and 84. I have negative 1 and negative 84. Now, if I keep doing these and I'm looking for something that will add up to the middle term, I'm going to notice that because this is positive, these are both going to need to be negative. So instead of going through every option now, I'm going to focus on the negative ones. And we'll see this is different for different sign rules. So I get negative 2 and negative 42. And I'm going to have to do all of my factors for this. So does 3 go in there? 3 goes in twice. Yep. So I get negative 3, right? If I divide 3 into 84. If I divide negative 3 into 84, I get, it's going to be negative, goes in there twice. So I get negative 28. And 4 will go into it. Let's see, 4 goes into 84 negative 21 times. Does 5 won't go into it? Does 6 go into it? I do believe 6 does. Or negative 6, I should say. Because negative 6 goes in there once. Four. And so negative 14. And notice this is circular. So eventually these are going to come close to each other. So does 7 go into it? I do believe 7 does. Negative 7 goes in there at negative 1 time. 2. So negative 7 and 12. 8 doesn't. 9 doesn't. 10 doesn't. 11 doesn't. And I'm back to negative 12. So notice how and so this kind of loops around because these are both factors. And so now I need the ones that add up to negative 20, which happens to be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into new numbers. I'm going to say, hey, well, 3x squared minus 6x minus 14x plus 28. What I've done is I've split this into these two factors. That's what the AC method is letting us do. And now I'm going to talk about this group of things and this group of things. And I'm going to factor these. So notice both of these have a 3x in them. So I'm going to pull out a 3x, and it's going to leave me with x minus 2. Right? This has a 3x, and this has a 3x. Both of these have a negative 14. So if I pull out a negative 14, that leaves me with x and negative 2. Now if I did my job right, the things in the parentheses should be the same. And so I'm going to pull out an x minus 2 to the front, and that leaves behind a 3x minus 14. And I found my factors. And that's the AC method. The book does kind of a guess and check methodology for this. And I find that the AC method always works. The hard part is breaking this into two pieces and taking care of the sign. So I want to do a couple examples using the AC method. The AC method is actually, oddly enough, really new mathematically. This wasn't taught when I was in school, and not all places teach it right now because teachers are just learning it. but it is the FOIL method going backwards. It does take what's happening in FOIL, and when these two middle terms come out, well, that's the part that actually we break the middle number into. I guess similar here, when we see these two parts, that's the part we would break the middle number into. So I'm going to do a couple AC methods in this video to help us get used to it. So now we can run into an example that sometimes they're prime, which means that they can't be factored. So I'll try not, I haven't pre-picked which ones I'm going to do, but if any of them are prime or not. So we'll just take it one by one and see if we get primes or not, and that'll be a good way of showing what's prime. 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. So my AC method, I'm going to multiply 2 times 3, and that's going to give me 6. And I'm going to want all the factors of 6. So I'll write that as my AC equals 6. So all my factors is 6. Well, this is positive, so I'm only going to worry about, and this is positive, so I'm only going to worry about the positive ones. So that's 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. And I need the ones that add up to 7. And so that are these. So I'm going to replace the 7x with that. So I get 2x squared plus x, right, 1x, plus 6x plus 3. Now I'm going to group these into little groupings here. And both of these have an x. So I'll pull out an x, and I get 2x plus 1. Now, what I want is to be able to pull out something that makes this a 2x. Well, that's 3. So I'll pull out a 3, and I get 2x plus 1. These are the same. So I'll pull that out front, and that leaves inside x plus 3. And those are my factors for this. I want to do one with a negative on, and I'll do it over to the side here. So I'm going to do 2x squared, let's see, plus 5x minus 3. So I'm going to do my AC. A times C is negative 6. And so I need all the factors of negative 6 that are going to add up to 5. And so I can get negative 1 times 6, negative 2 times 3, negative 3 times 2, and positive or negative 6 times 1. Notice I have my negatives going down one side and my positives going up the other. 1 times negative 6 is not the same as negative 6 times 1. And I'll add these up. And the ones I want are negative 1 and 6. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2x squared minus x plus 6x minus 3. I'm going to group these. And for here, I'm going to pull out a 2x, or sorry, an x. And that leaves 2x minus 1. And so here I want to pull out something that gives me a 2x. Well, that's going to be 3. So that's going to be 2x minus 1 also. Those are the same, so I pull that out front. And I get x plus 3. Now notice I did not do this on purpose, but these were similar problems with just the difference in the sign here. And that changed where the middle term going up, higher number or lower number, and a negative on the end. Alright, I'm going to do a negative and a negative, and then that'll be the last one of these I do. Let me see if I can find one that I like. Again, I'm not sure if this is prime or not, so here is my number, and so I'm going to multiply A times C. So 3 times 2, negative 2 is negative 6. And I'm going to list all the factors. So again, I'm going to work my way up. want the ones that add up to negative 1. So if I add these up, that's 5, 1, negative 1, and negative 5. And so this is the one I want. It's going to add up to negative 5, and I'm going to replace this middle term with that. So I get 3x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 2. I'm going to group these together. I'm going to notice that this has 3x. So I'm going to pull out a 3x, and that's going to leave me with an x minus 1. And you always double check. If I remultiply that back in, I do get what I started with. And then I'm going to pull out a 2. These should be the same. So I pull the x minus 1 out front. And I'm left behind with a 3x plus 2. And if I FOIL these back, I will get to this. And so this is how we use the AC method to factor.